back with another tool for your toolkits and how to create your lives. What's up, fam? Happy Tuesday. Y'all already know it's Mars Day. We get things done. We're getting things done. So as you tune in, don't forget to thumbs up this video and drop some emojis in the chat to let me know you're in the building. Drop your favorite emoji. Whatever your favorite emoji is right now, just go free, do what it does, do what it do. All right. Today's live and lesson is going to really speak to a lot of the energy of Scorpio happening right now for everyone. No one is excluded, okay? And it's something important, right? It's important for us to note that we're here in this life, we're here on this journey, and especially those of us who have decided that we want to delve into things that are hidden and not just easily available to us, whether that be occult science, changing your financial lifestyle and situation, shifting gears in what kind of home you live in, your family structure. These are all various points of life that are available to each and every one of us, all right? And one of the major goal killers to reaching these shifts in our reality begin with the ego, all right? Now, y'all already know, if you've been with me for a while, shouts out to everyone who is new, I don't have an issue with ego. So if you do have an issue with ego and you're trying to kill your ego, good luck with that, okay? What I do recommend highly is that you get to understand what in the world is your ego doing, especially when you get into a space where you feel like you're climbing, you're about to really have a breakthrough, and then you have some type of conflict that just sets you back 100 years. All right? We need to drop bombs on that aspect of the ego, because that aspect of the ego is going to waste your time and your effort, and it is going to take your vibration from where it was going and take it back down to ground zero. And there's no reason why after watching this video you should ever experience this again. And not because it's easy, but because you choose so. I did tell you that I'm giving you tools for your toolkit and how to create your life. All right? You come here to gain all the types of paint brushes, your little scalpels, your needles, your sponges, your canvases, so that you can create your life on purpose the way that you truly desire it. Okay? So it's interesting that the last time we joined each other, we were talking about people who complain or they have negative energies, right? And I think that a lot of you would have had the experience where you were not necessarily complaining, but someone else was feeling like you were complaining. Press 1 in the chat if you ever experienced that. Like, I'm not complaining, but the person feels like I'm complaining. Press 1 in the chat if you've ever had that experience. All right? And so, Joisha said 2. Okay. So 2 is no. She's never experienced that. Cool. Well, either way, it's fine, right? We're all human beings to an extent. And we are absolutely here to grow beyond the limitations of our humanness, which is why I said that, all right? Because one of the biggest things about being human is that we have these human emotions, okay? Human emotions. And I'm not about to poo-poo on human emotions, but the reality here is that a majority of the people around don't genuinely care about your feelings nor do they have the capacity even if they wanted to. So let's put that into perspective, right? Because I'm telling you from personal experience, I have been a very sensitive person from childhood, okay? From childhood. And between the various teachers of life, I've had the teachers of life that would validate my sensitivities. And then I had the teachers of life that would push against those sensitivities. And I have to admit that the ones that pushed against those sensitivities in their masterful ways, okay, have been able to turn me back around to myself, to find the strength within to reach whatever goal I was reaching for. Now, a lot of times, those goals included other people. We don't exist here on earth by ourselves. You won't get very far if you're just by yourself. There comes a time and a purpose for networking with other people, learning from other people. You read books, you take classes, you join communities. Why? Because everything here on earth requires that at some point, if we want to be great, we have to step outside of ourselves to reach for things that we may not already know, or we need guidance or assistance with relearning or pulling out from within ourselves. All right? That makes sense? So in essence of that, we have to put our thinking caps on. What is it that I really want? It's easy for my people who are like, I'm trying to get to this money, right? But they're really committed to it. I'm trying to get to this money. Some of them, they face this challenge working at a 9-to-5 that they really don't like that much, right? But at that 9-to-5, it is providing them with a certain amount of consistency with their finances, access to sometimes computer programs, health benefits, opportunities to sit in rooms that otherwise they can't sit in those rooms just yet on their own. And they manage to work themselves within that environment in a way that it's really not bothering them. Okay? There are people who may be looking from the outside in, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe that person is dealing with that. That person's so mean, or that person's so rigid, and they're just taking it. They're just like, okay, and they just keep moving forward. Now, your feelings might be hurt for the person, right? You might be feeling like you want to be a superhero. But what you want to understand about your ego is that your ego will easily get triggered into trying to play certain roles. And one of them is to being a superhero, where you will project how you're feeling about a certain situation and believe so wholeheartedly that the person that is in that situation must be feeling what you're feeling. Like, your ego makes you feel that way. Your ego, the person is, no one's talking to you, right? But you're looking at, and we're talking about adults here. We're not talking about children who can't help themselves. But we're talking about, and pardon the congestion, detox time. Anyways, right? But you're watching in an adult interaction, and everything within you is responding, but no one's talking to you. Right? No one's talking to you. But your whole everything is responding like, oh man. And if your ego is out of check enough, you might even run to save a person from a situation that they're so far detached from that you look crazy. Because they haven't put that much value on the person themselves that is talking to them a certain kind of way. They are already very clear of their own personal purpose of being. And this is where you get someone who has done enough emotional scouring, like really digging deep, to purposely plan out a life that is on purpose, living in a world that they already have learned is pretty harsh in a lot of aspects. As much as we all strive, I'll say we all, I know this is not true, but we all strive to be better people, right? Even in the midst of striving to be a better person, right? You have to define what is required of you to be a better person. If you really, really want to be that individual that can serve many people and be a way of protection from this harsh world, the first thing you're going to want to teach them is how to detach from those very fragile feelings that serve no purpose as they're in their growth spurt. Okay? Press 1 if you feel me. If you understand, this makes sense. All right, so the first sign of you being in a place where you're about to grow is always going to be some type of resistance. Okay? And that resistance means you're going to experience something that goes against what you would prefer. Period. That is the way it is here. Like the moment you are just feeling super comfortable in a particular way of being, not telling you to live in paranoia or anxiety, waiting for something terrible to happen. But you must embrace that comfort zone to the point of stashing away enough cushion around knowing who you truly are, that the moment you experience resistance, that you don't immediately want to fight back. Okay? And that resistance, when it comes up, is a very sure sign that it's time for you to level up. And that leveling up does not mean to quit. That leveling up does not mean to run in the other direction. You must always take a moment to fully analyze yourself in a situation where you start to feel uncomfortable before you make it about anybody else. Before you make it about anybody else. Not about how you assume others might feel. Not about, having a martyr mentality where you feel like you're going to carry the burdens of everyone else and be the sacrificial lamb to rebel and fight against the system. You gotta dig deeper to understand, why are you choosing to be driven in that way? because it's more about yourself and your own growth spurt that's coming up, and you have this awesome opportunity to level up beyond it. I would say that like one of the biggest resistance factors that people experience off rip is like if somebody says something about them that they find to be either embarrassing or initially not true. Initially not true. But it's more so initially not true because it's like I didn't have any intention of being that person. And here I am being called that person, whatever the characteristic is, right? Now, if you are detached from what anybody else identifies you as, and you have 100% sovereignty over who you are, how you're being, and the choices that you're making, everyone else's opinions don't matter, right? But if you're in a circumstance where you're trying to level up and gain something, which means there is something that is present that you don't already have, at least for right now, you may not even be aware of whether you have it or not. Your best position to always play is to be patient. And you might think you're being patient with somebody else, and you don't realize that nobody else needs your patience. The one person that is most important to them is you. And so I can be really clear, right? Because that sounded like you're not sure who I'm talking about. I'm talking about you. The one person who you matter to the most is yourself. So as much as you feel like who you are as a student, who you are as a mother, who you are as a father, who you are as a friend, who you are as a creative artist, who you are as a writer, whatever, and you think everyone just like needs you and absolutely adores you and cannot be without your membership or your solicitation, whatever, right? At the end of the day, never give anybody else that amount of value over yourself. Because when it comes to this life and being in leadership and being on a spiritual journey and being an entrepreneur, being a boss of yourself, if you feel like you're valued more by anybody else outside of you than yourself, you're setting yourself up to get your feelings hurt and to lose out on seeing what you bring to the world as valuable. Like, you got to value it yourself first. Then you can detach and be able to be out in the world and not get hurt every single time someone says something differently than what you would like to hear. Okay? As I'm going to even put this out here, like underlining for women, okay? I'm a woman, so I want to speak from a woman's perspective, all right? You know, naturally, we are very sensitive by nature. Basically, I just said that in a circle, right? But we are very sensitive. And it is our gift that lends us to a higher sense of intuition, right? Intuitive beings. But it also creates a lot of havoc and chaos within us, where because of our sensitivities, we quickly make things way more bigger than they are, right? And on a positive note, We can take things and we can magnify them and make them bigger and better. But at the same time, we can also take a very small situation and make it this huge upset, this huge um, blockage for ourselves amongst one another, in our relationships, whether it's, in our with our mates, with our teachers, um, with our bosses, if you have one, right? And a lot of times, people who have evolved beyond that level of mentality, they don't want to deal with that. And so they won't care. And so now something that has been blown up into this monstrous size issue, or it hurts that big, right? You get to walk away with it thinking that you're walking away with it hurts, when truly it's only hurting you. There are certain associations that we have with one another that are absolutely necessary. We need each other to network. We need each other to have feedback, to see how we're doing things. We need to have sights on graduating to levels of particular leadership that we may not be at just yet. And so we got to stay open to that growth curve. I'm telling you, when I was in all my travels around the world, especially when it comes to spirituality, like, I'm gonna just say this. I grew up in America, and America allows us to be super sensitive and overly emotional about damn near anything. Okay? Anything. And because of that, right, in our minds, we can go anywhere and be like, anything will trigger us. We just landmines going around the world. And then when you get into other parts of the world, you realize that there's certain order in place where things are accepted. Like, there's certain order that's already accepted. And so it doesn't create a trigger. It's only those who are unfamiliar to how things go that they're triggered, and they're like, I gotta get out of here. Trust me, I have gone through it. Okay? And one of the most powerful things on a spiritual journey to becoming the greatest of all time is going to be where you have these squares, these oppositions in life. Right? My guru, rest in power, when we met, everything just was triggering to me. But they were like these small little triggers. Okay? I'll give you an example. Initially, when we met, I was like eager beaver, right? I'm trying to get in and like really learn all the stuff, all the secrets. I'm trying to get to the magic early. And I was so used to this structured environment of, well, welcome to the class. We're going to have lesson 1. We're going to go over the foundations of such and such. And then we're going to have point A, B, and C. And then we're going to have a homework assignment to build on those principles. And then tomorrow, folks, we're going to meet for a quick snack, and we're going to have lesson, like, that's what I was used to, right? Of course, I'm going to conferences, I go to this, that, and the third. But then getting into the other parts of the world where you have teachers who have spent many years learning, fine-tuning, refining themselves, they will sit in silence in front of you for mad long. And you be sitting there like, all right, okay? And you be like, yo, I paid for this. Like, I paid for this. Okay. You gotta switch up your mindset. Because the first thing they're gonna see, who's here to be of service. And you might be asking yourself, like, why did I pay to come to something to be of service? Well, it's not really just the person in front of you that you're trying to get in contact with, is it? You are also trying to get to know about very personal aspects of the individual, because we're talking about their spiritual side, deities they have worked with, and it's on purpose that you get pushed against, your ego gets pushed against and poked early on, because it's never worth it. In all my years so far of being a teacher, and let's see, it's over 20 years of being a teacher, it's never worth it to work with the students who quit early on. It's not even worth it to try to get them to come back. I'm gonna tell you why. Because the purpose of having a teacher is to literally fast track your soul. Right? And the fastest way for your soul to evolve is to get over your ego. Get over your egocentrism, if that's a word. Because in the grand scheme of things, remember that one, you are the only person that is that important to yourself. Okay? The information that's going to be given to you in any situation, like I'm talking about a spiritual journey, but like, yo, you going to work, you had a good enough resume to get through the door. You don't get the pay grade promotion until you pass, 3-6 month evaluations. So imagine what it's like to come into a spiritual setting and feel entitled to more and more information that's going to level you up to such a point that, like, you're not even prepared for the changes that are going to happen. Because the spirits, they don't care. They don't have feelings. So they don't care. They don't care if the quickest way to get you to your $1 million is to set your parents' house on fire and they both get killed in it at the same time, because they know that there's insurance on the house and a life insurance policy. They don't care. But you didn't take the time to learn how to refine the way that you ask for things. Because you didn't have the patience. You just figured, once I know how to do A, B, and C, like, it's already given. And sometimes we don't realize that the resistance is just proving to ourselves that we have the strength, the tenacity, and the refinement to be graceful as we go to the next level higher. So, like, what if you come into the job and you got the administrative assistant job, you doing a bomb job, keeping the schedules tight, you showing up early, you staying late, like you just, you know what I'm saying? Three months in, you like, yeah, it's promotion time. And they go, oh, you know what? Yeah, you've been doing great. We're gonna give you the executive director job. Everybody that was your friend at the desk when they was clocking in now hates you. Now you have to manage everybody. You have to fire people. You have to hire people. You have to train people. You have to understand a whole nother world of responsibility. And you'll be thinking to yourself, like, this pay ain't worth it. Because while you was so hyped to do the easy job that you was already trained for, so you was flying with flying colors, like, yeah, I'm showing up, did this, oh, got it already. Okay, you need help? Yeah, I could do yours too. And they're like, oh, great. Boom, we're going to give you the highest thing now. Your family like, are you okay? Because now you're not answering just to the people here in this space. You got to speak to the people who own the company. And they damn sure don't, that you are replaceable. Okay? And the competition is way higher up there. So we got to be aware of when we're going through our own personal hells, that we're absolutely on our way to a hallelujah. But learn how to feel that resistance and be graceful with it and patient, or else you will be setting yourself up to be by yourself, to be losing out on what it is that you even showed up for in the first place. You feel me? So I think that this is, useful information for everybody across the board, like for jobs, for creating your own businesses, for deciding to take a priest or priestess path, for your relationships, your marriage relationships, your relationships with your family. Like, sometimes when my papa used to tell me, he would say, take a chill pill. He was like, chill out, son. Because when you're emotional, you just be like, well, I'm gonna show you. I'll show you. And if you ever feel like you're making a decision because you're trying to hurt somebody else's feelings, you are playing yourself. Your most powerful move is to remove yourself because you have a different opportunity that has greater value. To remove yourself because the situation has already given you everything that you could have possibly gained from it. Remove yourself for something higher, better. Okay? Not in a hurry, not because you're lack of patience, not because your feelings are hurt in the moment. Okay? Because there's so many ways around that. Alright. So I hope I don't obviously, if you've ever met me in real life, or if you've ever had a real interaction with me, you'll know that I'm a sweetheart. I'm genuinely kind and nurturing and all that. Make sure you're good and all of that. However, I have learned in my own life, and I transfer those same lessons, those powerful. Sorry, we got a little stuck there. I'm choosing to, if we got a little stuck here, so I'm gonna wait for a second. Let me see what's going on over here. They said the screen went black. Okay, y'all can still hear me though. Alright, so I'm here to just share from experience what is absolutely necessary for you to get the most bang for your buck. Alright? And that is the gist of it. You're going to take each of those moments where you feel absolute resistance and utilize it to build strength, tenacity, grace, and patience for all that it is that you are here to accomplish for yourself. Don't ever let your own unchecked ego take anything away from you, because you are the boss. You are in control. And whatever that aspect of your ego that needs some form of validation or a pillow to cry in, provide it for your ego elsewhere where it won't get in the way of where you're going. Okay? I see very good things for each of you who I have seen over the years have been steadfast, who have experienced what types of situations where other people may have thought, oh, you're probably hurt or confused or whatever by whatever, and you have been able to see it through to the other side. So when you start rising and shining where people, they couldn't see what was happening with you, but just because they didn't see it doesn't mean you weren't building yourself. And so when people start to see how much you are able to go out in this cold ass world and shine and still have access to your kindness because you're not bitter. You've already been well seasoned in the midst of all types of chaos. Then you will see it was worth it for yourself. Alright? So y'all, I want to invite y'all to make sure that you check out the links in the description box below. And stay tuned. I will be on the Occult College channel today or tomorrow with a really fun project for you. So go ahead and grab yourselves a pumpkin, if you will. And let's have some fun together. Peace, love, and bliss. Imagine me sending you hearts because I am. I will connect with you all soon. Later.